This is something that I showed you when it came in the mail to me some weeks ago, and then I took my time reading it, but, it's really quite good, and let me show you on the screen there. Dracula, Book 1, The Impaler by Matt Wagner and Kelley Jones. You think about these 2 working on a book together, first of all, that's an incredible, idea already. Matt Wagner's done some of my favorite Batman stuff, Kelley Jones, amazing artist, really great stuff. So, working on a Dracula book, I was sold. As soon as you told me that these 2 authors were working on a Dracula book, man, I'm in. I'm in. Because like I said, they have done so many great Batman things together, and they've done more than Batman, but that's just where I really love their work. I thought it shined a lot. And one of the things I liked about their work with Batman was they really have a good touch for the Gothic. So I thought this was great. Them working on Dracula, wonderful. Now I'll start by telling you what my criticism of the work is, which isn't really criticism of the work. It's just my, I guess, misunderstanding going into it. But because I knew that they were so good at Gothic fiction and Gothic, world building and all of that, I was really looking for a good Gothic Dracula story. And this book 1 really isn't that. Book 1, they talk in the intro, and I'm sure they said it on the campaign. I just probably wasn't reading carefully enough. But they wanted to do something that no one had ever done with Dracula. And Dracula is, an epistolary novel. It's a novel written in different people's letters to each other, diary entries, news clippings, and so forth. So but the interesting thing about Dracula, the novel, is that you never get Dracula's own narrative voice. You hear things he says, in the perspective of other people writing it down, but you never get Dracula writing anything down. So they wanted to try that with this book, which is a really great idea. And it's the origin of Dracula. It's their version of the origin of Dracula. So cool idea too. But the story, and this isn't a bad thing, it's a great story. They do a great job with this. Again, it's just my difference of my expectation when I first opened it, is that it really goes into should probably be careful about what page it just randomly opened to, because there is some nudity here and there. but it's this reads way more like a Neil Gaiman Sandman style universe, or even a Witcher style universe, in terms of the feel of the genre. It's not like a Gothic Victorian or whatever. This is Vlad the Impaler back in the day, and this is him, making deals, trying to make a deal with the devil, and it's just how he gets these powers, how he becomes the vampire. How a vampire even, comes about. What's the idea behind it and everything. So it's that's the story behind it. So you're not going to get a good Gothic, story that you think you might get from Matt Wagner and Kelley Jones, but it's a solid story. It really is a great story. Now, they're doing campaigns for these books, and they do have the campaign that just opened a little while ago. I'll put the link when I cut this out as a video. I'll put the link in the description, but you can look it up. It's Orlok Press, I think, is the one here. Yeah, Orlok Press. Like Count Orlok, from Nosferatu. And they've got book 2, which is a continuation. It goes on to this one. Book 2 is The Brides, Dracula's Brides. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm thinking that might be a little bit more Gothic. I don't know. But obviously they're going to work up to the point of the Dracula that we know from the novel. I don't know if they'll go into his perspective through that story. That'd be pretty cool. So I don't know how many books they've got planned for this, but this is book 1, The Impaler, and it's really good. It's good. Like I said, not the Gothic novel I was kind of hoping for, but for surprising me for being something different, it was still really good. It's great for what it is. I don't mean that as a qualifier. Well, it's good for what it is. That's not what I mean at all. It was something different than I expected, but it was still really, really good. That's what I mean to say. And you can still pick this up on the campaign for book 2, The Impaler. I mean, book 2, the Brides. You can still pick up this copy and that one. So really good stuff. If you're a Dracula fan, definitely recommend it. Something like Dracula or the Wolfman or even Frankenstein, there's countless iterations out there. Like I like to try to watch as many film versions of them as I can, but some of them are just so cheesy or so, sort of B-level or whatever that you just, I'm not going to skip that one. So you think, somebody did a Dracula book. Do I really need to watch it? Or if you're a Dracula fan, you really need to check this one out.